Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Man, this guy's kind of been silent, hasn't he? Talking about Sadr. Not a whole lot's been going on, and I was curious. And then, of course, today, some news came out about Sadr. So we'll cover that here in just a moment. Plus, there's still a lot of stress happening over the exchange rate. And it's not what people think. And I'm hearing all kinds of rumors out there that people are saying that they're fighting over the exchange rate increasing to the original rate of 322. That's not true, you guys. It's not true at all. So let's get into this, shall we? Before we get started, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so. Because when you do, it helps out the channel. And I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, head on over to our friends at Money Metals Exchange. The link will be down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code PIMPYSILVER. Yes, it has changed. PIMPYSILVER. So if you're watching this video and it's an older video, make sure you check on current videos because the code is going to be changing from time to time from now on. Also, I can be found on other platforms. Everybody knows I have my own website, Pimpy's News Network. Over here, I post videos that I can't get away with over on YouTube. Also, I have a group on Facebook called Pimpy's Investment Chat. Over here, we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. Come on over here and join us. It's free to do so. You can also come follow me on Twitter, MeWe, YouTube, and Odyssey. The links for all these platforms will be down below in the description. So for whatever reason, if I get removed off of one platform, you could find me on the others. As I was stating earlier, there's still a lot of conversations going on about the exchange rate. It said a Sudanese advisor explains about fluctuations in the exchange rate of the dollar. It said advisor to the Prime Minister, Saleh, explained on Thursday regarding fluctuations in the exchange rate of the dollar in the Iraqi market, while confirming that the external transfer platform meets 90% of the market demands for foreign currency. Slay said in an interview to the official news agency, Iraq is one of the largest countries in the region in terms of its current reserve financial capabilities, explaining that rumors and gossips began to circulate amongst people as a result of fluctuations in the exchange market following the adoption of the international controls that surrounded the work of the external transfer platforms, which meets 90% of the market demand for foreign currency. He added that they would like to reassure everyone that with the increase in transparency and information provided by the commercial community requesting financing its imports of foreign currency through effective mediation by the central bank and passing through the international auditing platform. The collection of foreign currency is increasing to meet the requirements of foreign trade and is achieved immediately and at the official exchange rate of 1,460 dinars for every dollar. Now, this part of this paragraph caught my attention, where it says right here, it said the collection of foreign currency is increasing to meet the requirements of foreign trade and is achieved immediately. It looks like Iraq is close to stepping on the international scene and playing a much bigger role here sooner than later, which is exactly what we want. But it doesn't help that Iraq has to finish with infrastructure, help build up the private and public sectors, and get away from relying so much on oil. So we know that the port is well on its way of being finished, which is going to be a major help to the economy of Iraq. So they're appearing to be on track. He pointed out that the financial market is in an adjustment phase to rearrange its conditions in a correct and orderly direction. And there are no concerns, noting that the government economy constitutes the center of gravity in organizing economic life and possesses sufficient basic ingredients in supporting and stabilizing the market economy. The Prime Minister advisor called for rejecting misleading rumors launched by speculators and enemies of stability. Let me repeat this because we have that in YouTube. The same thing is happening. The Prime Minister's advisors is telling people to be rejecting misleading rumors launched by speculators and enemies of stability. So that means anybody that tells you that, well, we might have a good Christmas. You know, we see the rates on the back screen, the 800 numbers, the redemption centers. My Intel person with the digital codes told me this. It's going to be in the 2023 budget. Those type of people is who they're talking about making sure you reject. So it's interesting that people have been wondering what Sadr was doing, including myself. But I do remember and recall that him saying he was going to go into seclusion for a little while, kind of meditate or reflect on what happened in politics. But just because he's been quiet, that doesn't mean he's disappeared. He says Iraq Sadr risk isolation with political retreat. I think this retreat's allowing Sadr to sit back and reflect on who was actually there for him and who was not there for him. Sadr, the Muslim Shiite cleric who dominated Iraqi politics for 2 decades, seems isolated for now after his move to step back from formal politics emboldened his Iranian-backed rivals and raised the prospect of fresh factional flare-ups. Iran, which already controls dozens of heavily armed Shia militia in its oil-producing neighbors, may now have an opportunity to expand its influence over Iraq's government, a worst-case scenario for the United States and its allies. Although Sadr won a preliminary majority in 2021, he chose to withdraw in August after his failed year-long bid to form a cabinet without the rivals close to Iran. Sadr's decision may already be driving away some of the swatches of followers who helped propel him to the center of Iraq's politics in the chaotic aftermath of the 2003 U.S.-led invasion that toppled longtime dictator Saddam Hussein. Some of the followers who supported Sadr have started to complain that retreating from politics and parliament will leave the path more open for corrupt parties to control government, which is something we talked about. Unfortunately, that has happened now. Now, this article is going to continue to touch on some areas that interest me. You see, all this time, it appears that al-Sadini is doing a great job and appears to be following in the steps of al-Kadhimi. You're going to see that this article touches on this just a little bit. It said the new Prime Minister al-Sadini has reshuffled several top security posts and installed officials who are close to Iran-backed parties, including the critical positions of Chief of Military Intelligence and 4 security officials. Just to give you an idea what that's equivalent to, that's like the United States appointing some high-ranking Canadian military people to run our military. The post was previously held by a more pro-Western officials, but al-Sadini has privately rejected calls by Sadr's opponents to sack pro-Sadr government officials, fearing that would push Iraq back into violence, 5 Shia lawmakers and 2 senior Sadr officials said. Even though he's made some moves to put some Iranian-backed people in key positions within Iraq, he is refusing to do it 100% in fear of a retaliation from Sadr and his supporters. So this account was corroborated by 4 Shia lawmakers who attended meetings between al-Sadini and his Shiite politicians on October 20th and December 11th. Again, al-Sadini does not appear to be doing the bidding of Maliki. So Sadr's followers took to the streets after he stepped back from politics, and the country briefly slid towards a civil war between Shiite factions until the protests were called off. Sadini is struggling not to awaken the dragon, said one of the Shiite government officials who attends the weekly cabinet meetings. Al-Sadini's office did not respond to the request for comment about the appointments of his refusal to move against officials seen as having ties to al-Sadr. Al-Sadr, who has not made the kind of public appearances that once fired up his supporters and intimidated rivals, has retreated from politics before only to make a return. Some of those close to the Mercurial cleric expect this withdrawal to be temporary. As soon as there's a sign of a new election, Sadr will sign up. Al-Sadr, who has closed several of his offices since the withdrawal from politics, cannot be reached for comments. A representative of the cleric in the city of Karbala said, Sadr is watching closely the political developments and performance of al-Sadini's government, which he, Sadr, believes would not last much longer. So Sadr is in the understanding that Soudini is not doing as good of a job as we had anticipated, and that he's expecting them to fail within the next few months here. So the article goes on to continue to say, look, those people who spoke out against Sadr before he took a step back, Sadr does not take personally. He said that these people did not speak out of their own volition. They were forced to. Al-Hayati, which is a leader that's close to the Ayatollah over there in Iran, spoke out against Sadr, told his followers to follow another leader and not Sadr. And Sadr didn't take it personally, saying that he really believed, again, he was made to say these words. Now I'm feeling pretty impressed by the moves that al-Soudini is making. I don't live in Iraq like most of us don't, like most of you. We really have no idea other than what the news tells us. It definitely appears like al-Soudini is doing all the right things. This article is stating that Sadr does not believe that all the right things are happening. So we'll keep a close eye on it. Once Sadr starts to make his move, we will see. We know that al-Soudini has agreed to early elections. If that's the case, within the next couple of months of this next year, you're going to start seeing political groups start making their campaigns to be the next leader. Anyways, you guys let me know what you think. I'll look forward to your comments, and I will catch you later. I'm out.